To this. One kick of the ball by Didier Drogba. Yeah, it's the greatest night in Chelsea history. Champions of Europe at
last. Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Stand YouTube channel. Once again, thank you to each and every one of you guys who always tune in and always take the time to watch our episodes. Last one with Elizabeth was fantastic. Once again, I think close to 600 views. We're edging very, very close to 400 subscribers. So before we start today's show, please guys, if you're already here, smash the like button. It helps us out a lot. Subscribe. Check out all our, social media, links that's popping up at the moment. And yeah, stay in touch with us. Hopefully we can all grow together. So guys, today's show is all about, the new season's just literally a few hours away. Arsenal, I think, is playing against Fulham. And our game will be on Monday. So it's timely that we talk about the Premier League predictions and what we think about other clubs, where they may be, not just Chelsea, but who are the other clubs to look out for, where could they finish, some new promoted teams, some coaches, up and coming players, and and we will also look into the Brighton match, and of course we will talk about Edouard Mendy, who seems to be all done and dusted for us. That will be our next signing. We've just been signing left, right, and center. So first of all, unlike all the other times, we don't have Kunal today. And the reason being, the guy just drank up too much and he's absolutely wasted. He's hungover. We called him. He was in no shape to start this. So it's just myself and Ameya. So that's a little bit of a note about Kunal. He will be back in the next show. We will excuse him this time. But firstly, Ameya, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. What about you? Looking forward to getting our predictions in, and hopefully we can get stuff right.
Absolutely, man. This is quite fun to talk about the whole prediction thing, and let's get straight into it. Actually, so I'll kick things off. I think let's start with Chelsea, right? I think for us, we've talked about it many times, so I won't take too long about the Chelsea part. I think for me, the expectation was to bridge the gap. I don't think we are title challengers at all. I respect Man City and Liverpool quite a lot. If we can bridge the gap, that'd be great. So my prediction for Chelsea would be, looking at the rest of the teams, I've penciled myself down that Man City and Liverpool will be 1 and 2. So I think Man City will get back this time. I think the hurt that they felt from last season, being so far behind Liverpool, I think Pep Guardiola will try and get back and win the league. So for me, they'll probably be number 1. Liverpool will be there and thereabouts. I mean, all these talks about how Liverpool might drop off, this, that, they didn't drop off, 2 seasons ago. They didn't drop off last season, of course. I don't see how they are going to just drop off. I think, Klopp has started to put a bit of a, mentality in that team that they're starting to become quite ruthless. They just want to win, and win. So I think, they're probably going to be second. And then after that, there's a whole bunch of teams that I feel are getting quite strong. So you've got us. I don't think we can disrespect Man United with the caliber of players that they've got, and Bruno Fernandes really, really, gelling that whole thing together. They even, bought Donny van de Beek as well now. So that's going to be quite interesting for them. And it seems like they may not be done in the transfer window. They are looking for a few other players. So I would put ourselves for third because of the great talent that we have. I would probably put Man United as fourth because of the strength and all the players that they've got. And I think as much as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is probably not the greatest coach, I think that continuity will start seeing more results. Here are my hot tips. I think a lot of people are probably disregarding Tottenham a little bit, but Jose Mourinho, I feel like, is building, and I've been watching a lot of the,
All or Nothing documents. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Honestly, I thought it was going to be a bit of a comedy, but I'm up to episode number 2 now. So far, it's awesome, man. It's going pretty good. Like, even though they didn't have a great season, but you can see what Jose is trying to. Sorry, it's not Jose. It's Jose. Jose. He hates being called Jose. Jose Mourinho. You can see what he's trying to build there. So, and I think the players are believing in that. So watch out for Tottenham. I think they could be very good. Arsenal, I think under Arteta are very underrated. I know we banter around Arsenal a lot. I know we talk a little bit, talk down on them, but I think Arteta is building a belief over there, Aubameyang being the center of that belief. And they've bought some really quality players as well. Gabriel Magalhaes. They've got
Saliba joining them as well in defense, who they signed last
Saliba.
season.
Yeah. And they've got our man, Mr. Williams. let's not forget about Williams. So look, I think that would. So Man City would be number 1, Liverpool would be number 2, Chelsea would be number 3, Man United number 4, and it would be a really big battle between Tottenham and Arsenal as 5th and 6th. After that, before I pass it over to you, I think some of the new boys to look out for is Leeds. I think Leeds games is someone that I want to watch quite a lot. Also want to focus a little bit about Ampadu, where with the loan move to Sheffield, so that'll be interesting to see. And that's pretty much my sort of prediction. I don't want to get too deep into all of the rest of it. It's too difficult to comment on all of that. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you about the top of the table finish. I think it's going to be Man City. I watched the Pep Guardiola All or Nothing documentary, and he is nuts. He is nuts, right? So I think that he's going to definitely get them to win the league again, especially because they lost the league last season by considerable margin, right? It wasn't even close. So
that would have hurt Pep. I reckon that would have hurt Pep.
Definitely. I think he's not won the domestic league only twice in his career, right? Once was the first Antonio Conte season when we won, and then the next one is last year. So I think that this time around, he's really going to up his game and contend for the title, and I think they're going to win. But I think that Liverpool are going to fall off this season.
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, by fall off, I don't mean finish like 10th or whatever, like how we did in 15, 16, but probably like our 17, 18 season at the Conte when we just finished winning the league, because I can see a lot of similarities. Yeah, I think that the board aren't backing Klopp. I think Klopp publicly is saying that I wanted Werner, I want Thiago and whatnot, but then despite all that, the board isn't backing him, and it could really turn sour, right? It could really turn sour because
good point.
So I think that that could impact Liverpool this season, especially if they don't get any new signings over the line. However good you are, you've got to improve every window. That's just how the Premier League is. So I think that it could be one to look out for. Also, if Klopp does get sacked for some reason or leaves the club because he isn't being backed, the next manager's got a tough task to do, because most of the players in this are system players, right? You look at Salah, Mane, they were, I wouldn't say nothing, but nowhere world beaters before they came to Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold's his ridiculous number of goals and assists is only because he doesn't have to defend too much. You've got Henderson and Wijnaldum and Fabinho covering for him in case he's caught up the field. So you've got such players that under other managers, under other systems, might not flourish as much as they're doing now. So I think
True.
Yeah. So all of this put together. Also, the third point, they've been cheating their XG for so long. They've been overperforming for like 3 years.
Here we
now.
go.
It's not even funny. Yeah, it's not even funny, right? I don't know. It's literally impossible for any club to outperform their XG for so long. But they've been doing it. And I think this season it's finally going to hit them. A lack of depth as well. I think apart from the starting 11, they don't have much. So I think all of this put together is probably going to leave Liverpool third or fourth. I'm probably because for all I know they could be up at the top again, but in my opinion I think they're gonna struggle.
Just on that, Ameya, just before you go on and touch on the other stuff, are they going to get back some of their loan players that they had last season that did pretty well? Like, I think, who's that Bournemouth guy they had?
Harry Wilson, I think.
Harry Wilson. I'm sure he'll probably feature.
Yeah.
Brewster as well, Ryan Brewster.
Yeah, Brewster's there as well. I think he had a pretty good preseason, but then I don't think it's probably the plan for Jurgen Klopp. I think the role that Firmino plays is so unique that, very few players in world football have the capability of, drawing
Yeah.
players and then creating space. So I don't think Brewster will feature much as well.
And all the other rest of the teams?
Yeah, I think Chelsea's going to finish second. Yeah, I mean, I don't say us as title challengers, but I think City is going to run away with the league. I won't even be surprised if they, get another 100-point season, to be honest. But I think we'll be second. I think we'll be the best of the rest. Let's hope. But, obviously, we shouldn't criticize him if he doesn't, right? I think the main talking point is the points. I think if he gets to that late 70s, early 80s kind of mark, I think I'd be pretty content with that season, regardless of where we finish, honestly, second or third. So I think that all I want to see is real improvement, right, from the squad. But I think that finally, last season we could see we created so many chances, but we couldn't finish them. So this season we've got so many players who, such great finishing, great creativity, great everything, fluidity. I mean, it's just too exciting. I think I see us finish second, especially if we can keep Thiago Silva fit. I think that could be a crucial turning point because he has had injury problems off late. So I think if we keep Thiago Silva fit, I think we can finish second. Third would probably be, I'm going to say Liverpool. Fourth would be United. I think as things stand, right, if United gets Sancho, I think United could push for third or second as well, and probably Liverpool could fall even further. But
they're strong, man. They're strong. I mean, as much as we want to laugh about it, they're strong.
Exactly. I think if they get one more centre-back to replace Lindelof probably and another backup for Luke Shaw, I think they've got a pretty solid side. Honestly, on paper, that's very, very good side. But my personal opinion is I don't rate Solskjaer as much. I think any other manager, like probably Pochettino for that matter, I think he would have excelled with the squad. Definitely put up title chance with the squad. But let's see. Let's find out how that goes. And I think our top four is pretty similar, right? In the manner of the team. I think City is going to win, Chelsea second, probably Liverpool third, and United fourth. And but as you mentioned, right, I think Arteta is really promising manager, and since he came in, he's really stabilized the ship and whatnot. So I think they're going to finish fifth. They could even push for fourth, but I just don't think they have the quality, right? I mean, how much ever the manager puts his ideas into your head, you need to have the ability to execute it, right? And I don't know if they have that yet. Of course, that could still change the league to Aouar or whatnot. If they can get Aouar over the line, what a signing he would be, honestly. So let's see
I think that's getting close. There's some big talks that, man, that would be exciting, man.
They linked to Partey as well, so I think that could be unbelievable for them. And then we move to Jose Mourinho, right? I don't think on paper the Spurs squad is as good, but Jose Mourinho is Jose Mourinho for a reason. So I honestly think the dark horses for the top four, to be honest. But let's see.
Honestly, you know how you said that they're not so strong on paper, but you look at their team, right? Harry Kane. I don't know how many other strikers in the Premier League that you would say are much better than Harry Kane. I mean,
none. I don't think anyone in the Premier League is better than Harry Kane.
Exactly. So they've got that. Then you've got Son, who is a very talented winger, second striker. Dele Alli, fantastic player. Lucas Moura, we can't disregard him either. He's an absolute, workhorse. Lo Celso. So they've got quite a good players. I mean, where do you see him sort of finishing? If we see them finishing.
I'd see them finishing sixth, but I think they still need to sort out a couple of defensive problems, honestly. They signed Doherty, which was pretty surprising to me because he used to play the wing-back role for Wolves, right? So I was pretty shocked that, Spurs, and especially Jose Mourinho, who likes his fullbacks to stay defensive, would go for a right wing-back. So I'm not convinced about that. And the defense as well. Vertonghen's contract is expired. Alderweireld is all the decline. All they've got is Davidson Sanchez and Eric Dyer, which I think isn't the best defensive partnership, right? And the left back, they've got Ben Davies as well, who's a consistent performer, but he's not, someone who's going to contend for the Champions, like the later stages of the Champions League, or probably for the top four, top two. So I think that they're not bad, but you look at this business that the other sides have made, and I think that they're pretty far off, right? I mean, their squad is definitely less inferior to ours or United's. Or Arsenal is debatable, but definitely inferior to ours and Liverpool and City and United. So yeah, I think that's why I'd see them struggle a bit. But Jose being Jose, you never know.
Who do you think would be besides Spurs? I know you just said that Spurs would be your dark horse, but besides Spurs, who would be the other teams that you could see someone could possibly do a bit of bit of a job this season?
I think that generally I would go for Wolves because they've been so consistently finishing seventh over the past couple of seasons. But I'm going to go with Everton. I think they've got a really solid midfield. They've completely revolutionized their midfield, right? Well, they went from Sigurdsson and Schneiderlin to James and Allen and Doucouré. So I think they've completely changed their midfield. And I think defensively they could still struggle a bit, especially if they don't get a couple of deals over the line. But apart from that, I think up front we've got Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin as well. And under Carlo Ancelotti, not to forget. I think they could really surprise a few people this season.
No, I think I have to agree with the Everton shout. It'll be interesting to see because they're going to be playing Tottenham in their first game. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how they fare. I think Carlo Ancelotti will look for a strong start because the last thing you want is with all those players. I'm not really sure if all of them will be playing, but the last thing you want is with all that caliber of players and then you start off with a loss. For me, I think a team to sort of look out for would be, as you said, I think the natural selections are, your Wolves, Everton, and Sheffield United. Obviously, they've done well. I think from that point of view, that's probably what I would agree as well. Everton's probably the only one. Leicester, how do you feel about Leicester, by the way?
I think Leicester's going to crumble this season, honestly. I think last season, probably finishing out of the top four after being second for so long, I think that really crushed them, honestly. And they lost Chilwell as well. They've lost Ricardo Pereira to a long-term injury as well. So I think those were so crucial to them doing well last season. And Maddison as well, he started off really strong, but then just sort of faded off. And then I think Vardy could start fading out as well, because how much longer is he going to score? Right? Well, he's 32.
I mean, how old is he? Like, he's 32, 30.
Yeah,
he's got to stop.
He's going to start declining at some point of time, and I'm not sure they have a replacement lined up. I hear Nacho's not exactly that level, so I think that they could probably start struggling this season. One team which I forgot the last time was actually Southampton. I think Ralph Hasenhüttl's done an incredible job, right?
Yes.
Especially they lost 9-0 at home to Leicester, and then they were rocked to the bottom of the table. But then following that, he's done splendidly well. I think Danny Ings could have another golden. This time he could go for the golden boot. Let's go, Ings.
Look out for the player Obafemi. They have this player called Obafemi who could work really nicely with Danny Ings, I think. But yeah, it's a good shout that you made in regards to Leicester. I think it's a good point that you say they could crumble this season with. I don't think they even did. They replaced Chilwell with that
Castagna,
Spanish left back or something.
No, I think he's Belgian. Castagna.
Oh, Belgian left back. Yeah. Besides that, did they buy anyone else? I don't think they bought anyone else.
I'm not sure either. Probably not.
No one notable. Notable.
Yeah. So
cool. All right, I think that pretty much wraps up this situation. Let's. You want to talk about the Mendy thing? We'll
for sure. I think we finally got the here we go, didn't we, from Fabrizio. I think Di Marzio tweeted it first, and then there was not a lot of traction. And then Fabrizio just quoted that tweet, and then it got so many more interactions, right?
I think last I checked, it was like about 60,000 likes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that is excellent. And you could see Chelsea fans, commenting under Fabrizio's post saying, don't you get bored of saying here he goes for Chelsea? But it was great to see that. I think there was a video of him leaving the training session. I don't know how legit that is.
And he was I think it is pretty legit. He was leaving and he was waving. I think straight off that, like all of these news sort of materialized.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that the deal is probably around 24 million euros or something. Last I checked, I think it's but I saw Simon Johnson. He tweeted something around the 22 million. Something like that. Look, it's not hell expensive. And, it's, I think, 5-year contract as well. So, let's
let's see. Yeah, what you were going to say. Continue.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't get too hung up on the price, probably 20 million. And as you mentioned, it's a 5-year contract as well. So I think that shouldn't be an issue. I think that, the only issue is it, but we did see some inspirational story, right? I think at 23, he was unemployed or something. And then,
Expected Chelsea, I think he tweeted something out. He had his 23-year-old. He didn't even have a job, and then obviously, through all of that, now he's got this role with Chelsea. I was listening to Alex Goldberg's latest podcast with Simon Johnson, and there was some interesting talking points there. If you haven't listened already, please listen to it. It was quite interesting, and this whole thing about Mendy, like some of us think that this news just came out of nowhere. Chelsea must have just seen, just like us, saw like a 5-minute YouTube video. Yeah, let's get him. No, apparently they've actually seen this player for a little while. Like, it's not like they don't scout this place; they've been scouting. Peter Cech, he's played for Rennes, so he's got connection with Rennes. And he knows that club really, really well. So he rates this particular goalkeeper. Lolichon as well. Like he rates this particular goalkeeper as well. But it was interesting in that whole episode to hear that it may still not be the long-term solution. I think this is what Expect Chelsea as well in his tweet said, that it may not be a long-term solution. And the reason being is that ultimately, I think Chelsea's in a bit of a mess with Kepa. Like, do listen to this episode with Simon Johnson. It gives you a really, really good inside story as to the whole situation with Kepa. And I think what's happening is that, Chelsea don't want to let go of Kepa for a loss, pretty much. So it's very difficult to offload him now. But they're bringing in Mendy, hopefully, for good competition. We may perhaps see a keeper for Premier League and a keeper for the Champions League, because Chelsea still wants to somehow get rid of Kepa on the high. So we may possibly see, and it may not be a good thing, or I don't know, could be a good thing, that Kepa may play in the Champions League more, so that he can get some clean sheets and some good performances. And hopefully next season there could be a buyer for him. And then, Mendy mostly in the Premier League where he will feature. I think in that episode, what Simon Johnson was also alluding to was that there is no doubt that Mendy is probably going to be the number one goalkeeper, because we've already seen Kepa being dropped last season. I think Frank, at the end of the season where it was crunch time, he did not hesitate one bit to get rid of Kepa and bring on Caballero. And Caballero featured in some of the biggest matches right at the end. FA Cup final, the Wolves match. Before that, I think it was Man United FA Cup semi-final as well. So I think we just need to understand deeper that this whole Kepa thing is actually quite serious. And I don't think Frank fancies Kepa one bit anymore. And this new keeper with Mendy, yes, he's going to be great for us for the time being, because we need someone, because we simply can't go out there and get the likes of Oblak or whoever else, top of the range available. So yeah, at the moment, Mendy is someone who just fits the stopgap, I suppose. You did a really good, thread. I want you to talk about that thread a little bit.
Yeah, all right. I think, as you said, he's a stopgap signing, right? And I think he's an excellent stopgap signing. He has promising stats, and I think that Chelsea wanted a bargain signing this summer to fix the problem short term. So I think he's a perfect fit. And next season, I think Donnaruma's contract is expiring. So fingers crossed we can get him on a free. That would be incredible. But so going back to the thread about about Edouard Mendy. I think that see the first point is Frank wants someone who's tall and who can command the box, right? And Mendy fits
Yeah.
that bill. Kepa is the complete opposite. I mean,
Mm.
you don't have to be tall to be a good goalkeeper, but it certainly helps to be tall, doesn't it? So
100%.
yeah. So I think. I mean, I don't blame Kepa for it, right? I think that even the previous season he wasn't as tall, but he was pretty decent. Wasn't exactly
Mm.
pathetic, wasn't great either, but he was decent. So I think that Edouard Mendy collects a lot more crosses. I think that he's somewhere around the 10% mark, while Kepa just collects about 7% of his crosses. So it may
Yeah.
look like just 3%, right? But it's
That's
so
huge.
much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
huge figure when you look at it over a period of time. Over
Yeah.
38 games, that's a lot of extra crosses collected. So I think that's a real plus. And then he has the ninth highest save percentage in the top 5 leagues last season with 78%.
Wow.
That's excellent. For comparison, Kepa was 54.5%, which is
But by
crushing.
the way, just quickly, someone mentioned to me in my YouTube channel when I was talking about Edouard Mendy. Apparently, Ren has made the Champions League position. Is that true?
Yeah. They finished third this season, so I think that was really, really
And they
good.
were saying there was a lot impacted because of his abilities in the goals. So yeah,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, I think that, I think Ren did pretty well as a team overall, and Edouard Mendy was a huge part of that as well. So I think that he was really good. I think the previous season he was even better when it came to expected goals against minus post shot expected goals. I think that's the best comparison to the best metric to use to judge a goalkeeper. Really, it's how many
Yeah.
extra goals you're saving, which an average keeper would save otherwise, right?
Yeah.
For comparison, Kepa is -9. He's conceded 9 goals more than an average keeper should have conceded. While Mendy, I
Wow.
think last season it was just plus 1.7, but then that's because I think the League One got suspended, right? They cancelled it. They did not continue
Yeah.
the League One after the lockdown. So I think that was one of the reasons why it's so low. The previous season it was 4.3 or those whereabouts. I'm not too sure, but I think so. So that's pretty promising, right? So he's been doing better than he's expected to do for a couple of
Yeah.
seasons now. So I think that that's really promising. So I think what people get too hung upon is the age factor, is that he's 28. I mean, the same keeper with the same stats, you get him at 23, 24, and you can look at him as a long-term option, right? But
Yeah,
that 28, I think you can still get probably 3 or 4 years out of him maximum, because
And keepers play for a long time, man.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if you can be still on top of your game, like how long did Peter Cech play for? Peter Cech played
I think
till he was quite old.
I think I think he was 33 until Courtois replaced him in the 14-15 season.
No, as in when he finished up at Arsenal, how old was he when he
I think
finished
it was
up?
like 36, 37 or 30 around that. I think he was late.
Yeah,
late
he was late 30s. So
Yeah,
look, I mean, I think keepers have a long, duration. So I'm not worried about that. But I think what we probably need to understand is that he's not, he's not the world class caliber that we're looking for. As you've mentioned that, I think a nice stopgap for the time being. He will complement the defense, and as you said, he'll stop a lot of the crosses. Good shot stopper, as I remember from your thread as well. And on a cheap. But who do you think becomes, I suppose, from what I just said in regards to how Chelsea will still try and somehow make Kepa look good so we can offload. But do you think Caballero becomes number 3, or is Kepa number 3? Who's
no,
number three?
I think it's definitely Caballero at number 3. I don't think Kepa, not being in the match day squad altogether, that's just sad, honestly. And I think we won't do that, right? I think the least we'll do is keep him on the bench, because if you exclude him completely, then the potential buyers might get put off. I mean, if they're already still interested after last season, which would be a miracle, I think that they'd completely give up their chase on Kepa if something like that happens. But yeah, I think one of the Spanish sides is our only hope, because in Spain there's a lot more concentration on your ability to play the ball to beat a press rather than short stop. I mean, it's important as well, but they concentrate more on that over the traditional goalkeeper. So I think that probably one of the Spanish sides is our only hope for Kepa.
You know what the other crazy part? I just remembered from that episode in Alex Goldberg's show. It's the wages that Kepa is getting as well. Like, and he still has 5 years to go in his contract. So
I think we signed him on 7 or 6 year deals. So I think that it's going to be a pretty long time.
7 years.
Yeah.
So he's got no obligations to leave. Like, he could just say, "Don't play me, but you're gonna have to pay my wages for 5 more years." And apparently, he's one of the highest paid players in Chelsea at the moment. So this is a monumental financial stuff up for us. But anyway, that's enough about the goalkeeper. Let's talk about the Brighton game. You want me to go first, or you want to go first in regards to the formation?
You can go first, and then
I'll go first. So, look, I think the Brighton game, it's very important we start off with the 3 points. I feel we shouldn't disrespect or disregard them. They do have quality, in the likes of Lewis Dunk and Ben White, both defenders that we were kind of rumoured to go for. So we need to be very careful as to those guys are really, really good in defence. And, Tariq Lamptey on the right side will be very, very explosive. And overall, they're not a team that's shy. They don't just sit back and just soak up the energy. They will want to look for that counter where we're a little bit, I suppose, iffy about. So, look, all in all, I think we have enough firepower. I think Timo Werner is in he's in a ruthless mood at the moment. I'm worried that he's going to absolutely annihilate Brighton all by himself. And then, of course, big matches for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's had a few games under his belt. So I think it's a big match for him. And perhaps Kai Havertz, he may get a go. So my formation would be, knowing that Kovacic is suspended as well, I would go with the 4-3-3. Generally, I would like to go with the 4-2-3-1 in the early stages, and then evolve into the 4-3-3. I feel defensively we need a little bit more concentration. But I think this game against Brighton, I would go with the 4-3-3, and my team would be basically Azpilicueta on the right side. I did go for Reece James initially, but if Azpilicueta is fit and ready to go, I think he's going to start. He's the club captain. I was just under the impression that he's probably not fit yet, but if he's fit, he's starting. And I think Reece James took a bit of a knock as well, so perhaps he doesn't, start. In the middle, Thiago Silva is not here yet, so we can't put him under contention. So it'll have to be Andreas Christensen, who's played a lot of the preseason matches, played in the internationals as well. So he's got some minutes under his belt. The other one has to be Zuma. I don't know how Tomori gets an opportunity all of a sudden, even though Frank has said that he's in contention. I think he's probably the one who's going to go on loan, considering we've got so many centre-backs now. In the left back, it'll probably be Marcos Alonso. I don't really see how Emerson gets a chance. And obviously, Chilwell is still not fit. So it'll be Marcos Alonso. In the middle, the lone DM has to be Kante. He's pretty much played everything, for internationals as well and in preseason. And Frank has said that he's starting to look really, really fresh. All those injury concerns are hopefully gone. And in the middle, here's the exciting part. I think it's going to be Mason Mount on the left centre mid. He's not just a player that Frank trusts a lot, but he brings that pressing. He wins the ball up front, which is going to be quite exciting. I don't think Ruben Loftus-Cheek is quite there yet at the moment in terms of press. I think slowly, hopefully Ruben Loftus-Cheek will come into play. Kai Havertz, for me, all the words are that he's destined to debut in this match. I probably didn't think that he would start so quickly. I just thought that he may train a little bit more, but there's words apparently that he may start, which is fantastic for us. I want all our attacking players to play, so that's fantastic. Up front is a bit of a conundrum. Now, Pulisic is apparently back, but he's had no match fitness. Like, I don't want to risk this guy again come in and get injured.
Yeah.
I think he will feature. He'll probably come off the bench. So in that sort of mindset, I would probably have Timo Werner in the left wing, knowing that there's no Pulisic and there's no Ziyech either. Ziyech is injured.
Yeah.
So I would have Timo Werner in the left wing. I would have Giroud starting up front, and I would love to see that link up between Werner and Giroud. Lots of talk about Giroud going to Juventus, which he personally has come out and said, this is a lot of BS.
Yeah, exactly.
I've not accepted anything, which is great news for us. I would hate to see this player go. As I said, I think he brings the whole team together, and that connection with Timo Werner is going to be good. And in the right side, I would love to see Callum Hudson-Odoi get the chance, and I think he will do very, very well in the right side. And that connection with Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Kai Havertz would be very interesting. So that would be my formation, my lineup. My prediction for the match is, and once again, I don't want to be disrespectful for Brighton, but I think we're going to win 3-0. Timo Werner with 2 goals and Olivier Giroud with 1 goal. Either Olivier Giroud or Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'm hoping Callum Hudson-Odoi scores because this guy, he needs that, start. So that's my Brighton match wrap. What's yours?
Right. I think slightly a couple of changes there, which, of course, I have to say, otherwise, the people watching will be like, what, you both always have the same opinion. So I'm going to go with slightly, even I was personally favoring the Giroud and Werner link up, which you were saying, but because you mentioned that, I'll go with the other one in my mind. I think in goal, you didn't mention the goalkeeper, Caballero. Kepa.
It has to be Kepa.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Kepa's in goal. Right back for me, I think will be Reece James. And if Azpilicueta is fit, as you said, I think the left back position will be occupied by him. I don't think Alonso might get a nod because, Brighton are one of those sides which sit back a little instead of pressing very high. So I think that Lampard might go with Alonso, but I think I'd personally prefer to see, especially until Chilwell is back, I'd prefer to see Azpilicueta on the left and Reece James on the right. But let's see how that goes. And then the defense has to be Christensen and Zuma. I don't want Rudiger to play for Chelsea again, but I don't know. For some reason, Frank really rates Rudiger.
I forgot about Rudiger, by the way. There's a lot of talks that he may start this. Do you think that's a possibility?
It's a very high possibility because for some reason Lampard still rates him, and I don't know what he sees. Is it the training that we don't see? Because in the match, he's just so unstable and unpredictable, right? You don't know what he's going to do. And that's not something I want from my defender. I want my defender to be calm, composed, solid, and, have that leadership. But then he doesn't, and I don't know. But I'm not convinced by him, frankly. But let's see. I think I wouldn't be too surprised if it was Rudiger Zuma as well. Probably Christian might drop out. And then Kante's lone DM, I think, it could be Jorginho Kante as a pivot, right? It's possible.
Oh, wow. Really? I don't think Jorginho is playing under Frank Lampard. Again.
Yeah, but you look at the injury list that we have, right? I think that he might get a nod. I'm not saying he will, might, but I think Kante will be the lone DM. But up front, right, I think it's going to be Mount and Loftus-Cheek ahead of him. Okay. And I think that Havertz is going to play on the wing. I think especially until Ziyech is back, I think Lampard really wants an inverted winger for that right wing spot. I think he wants a left-footed player there. So I think until Ziyech comes back, I think Havertz is going to play there on the right wing role. I don't think we'll see him in the number 8 position until Ziyech is there on the right wing. But let's see how. I think he played the right wing for Leverkusen as well towards the end of the season, Havertz. So I think that he could play in the right wing role for now. I think I'd lead with Timo Werner. I think he was the lone striker in our friendly game as well, and I think he did fairly well. I'd lead with Werner, and on the left I'd go with Hudson-Odoi, not to risk Pulisic as you mentioned. So I think that it's going to be the 4 at the back, then Kante, Mason Mount, Loftus-Cheek, and up front it's going to be Werner through the middle, Havertz on the right, and Hudson-Odoi on the left with Pulisic.
That's exciting. That's pretty good. I can see that happening. Yeah, your prediction for the match?
I don't want to jinx it, but I think I'd go with the 3-1 probably. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet just yet.
Kepa.
Kepa. Exactly.
Nice. Hey, what's your thoughts on Tammy, man? Like, seems like, I mean, if Werner plays up front, then you got Giroud. What's your thoughts on Tammy's minutes this season?
I think it could be reduced drastically unless there's some injury to one of the couple of players. But you don't know how long Giroud's going to hold his form, right? He's 33 at the moment, and I think his
Yeah.
contract expires at the end of the season. So I think after that, Tammy is a much more long-term option. He's just 22, and he was a top
Yeah.
scorer last season. So I think Tammy Abraham knows that himself as well, that he is the long-term option alongside Timo Werner, right? And then probably Giroud goes at the end of the season, and I think that by that time, I think Tammy Abraham would have probably bulked up, got a lesson or two from Giroud on how to hold the ball up and whatnot. And then if he could improve his hold-up game, I think that along with his finishing was pretty all right. So I think his finishing with the hold-up play, which he has to learn, I think together he has to improve his balance, right? Because we've seen him being called Bambi or nice and whatnot. So I think that. I think that together, I think Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham's definitely the long-term plan. So I think I'd keep Abraham for now. He'd probably have to work slightly harder in training to get that starting spot ahead of Giroud and Werner. So, but I think he knows that it's not just a one-season thing. It's a long-term plan. So I think he'd be pretty understanding. If Lampard just has a chat with him, I think he'd be pretty understanding that this season he's going to have reduced minutes. But once Giroud's gone, it's your responsibility to contend for the spot with Werner. So I think that's where I'm at with Tammy at the moment.
Perfect, man. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for this particular show. We've covered quite a lot of stuff in regards to predictions. Edouard Mendy, I think we covered quite a bit about Edouard Mendy. Thanks to you, man. I saw a lot of insight about that. Hopefully viewers get a lot out of that. And the Brighton game, I think we've given a good sort of sense of our formation and lineup and what we sort of expect on that match. Any final thoughts before we leave, Ameya?
Yeah, no, I think we missed Kunal for this one. Huge miss. I think he would have, jumped on the Kepa slander train quite a lot. But I think, but it was a good chat. We covered a lot of topics. So I think, it was a good chat. Hopefully the viewers, enjoy seeing this one.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. Well, on that note, everyone, hope you guys enjoyed this particular show. And until next time, see ya.